Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. First things first, come to our live chat after the Mavericks-Knicks game on Sunday. Don't miss it, we'll have a lot of really great questions and answers, and also live tweeting during the game. As for this game last night, the Clippers versus the Blazers, some of the most atrocious offensive execution I've seen down the stretch. Also, you have to go to bballbreakdown.com to watch this because we have a whole companion piece with text giving you even more insight into the game and what's happening. And if you're not going to there, you're missing out on a whole other aspect of what B-Ball Breakdown is about. So here's what I saw. Watch how Portland goes into a screen and roll motion offense where they keep screening the ball on the wing. This is pretty good because they get side-to-side action and they spread the defense out, ultimately getting a shot in the corner. Watch how Caron Butler does not box his man out and they get the long rebound. And here you're going to see Mo Williams inexplicably go underneath a screen against a really good shooter twice. And that forces a switch where Blake Griffin has to guard Jamal Crawford. Not a good matchup. Splash. The Clippers counter with a screen and roll on top, which is really just a prelude to getting the ball to Blake Griffin down in the post. But watch how they have no other option other than to go to Blake. They take the pass away and the offense dies completely. No other option, no other counter, and they get a turnover from this. This is bad offense. The best Clipper offense is when the Portland Trailblazers make a mistake. Here, Lawson does a sideline screen and roll and throws the ball off his own man, and they get a run out. Watch how Kurt Thomas will not lay any wood on the screen and roll. It's a wasted play. Nothing happens off of this, and instead they get a little handoff to Jamal Crawford, who carries. Off of a dead ball situation, look how long it takes for the Clippers to get into an offensive set. They're having a conversation, they have no idea what the play is, and we all know it's just pick and roll, and then there's Blake Griffin not even getting close to setting a screen. People are just walking around out here. This is truly awful basketball. So they stack out of bounds, watch Caron Butler completely do an offensive charge that's not called, and the only thing they get is a fade for Blake Griffin from 22 feet. Why don't they get something with him going to the basket with only 1 second on the shot clock? Like I showed you with the Clippers offense, Portland runs this flat cut across the lane and then screen and rolls Jamal Crawford at the end. Now watch Chris Paul, who knows that Jamal Crawford does not know how to pass. He'll come all the way over and leave his man to shadow Jamal Crawford. Felton takes advantage of this but gets stripped and then misses the layup. And here you'll see the Clippers again run their best offense, which is simply transition, Mo Williams spotting up for a three. That's 5 points in transition. Out of a timeout, Portland decides to screen and roll for Jamal Crawford, but they use Kenyon Martin's man, the best defender on the Clippers. And they have a guy in the corner whose man is going to get in the way of any kind of isolation they run. Terrible shot, terrible conception of an offensive play. Speaking of terrible offensive play, out of a dead ball situation when the Clippers can call a play, they're completely and utterly disorganized. They have no idea where they're supposed to be. They're pointing everybody out. No one seems to know what's happening. Chris Paul gets a screen on both sides, sort of, kind of dribbles over to the wing. This is an absolute and utter mess. And he hits the shot. Portland finally gets into something of an offense where they curl Batum on the right side. Great defense by Butler, so they have to do the secondary option, which is screen and roll. CP3 should be a lot higher to his left the way Blake is playing this. Instead, they let him turn the corner to the middle and they get a foul. Up by 3 and able to ice the game, they call a play that brings Blake Griffin out above the three-point line, and then Kenyon Martin sets an inside screen, but Blake Griffin's in the way. The shot clock winds down, and this kind of three is more often what's going to happen when Chris Paul shoots it. And here's where execution's really important. Marcus Camby should be a lot higher near the top of the key so the pass is shorter instead of getting stolen there. And watch Gerald Wallace's counter. That's what he's supposed to do, cut to the basket. It would have been a wide open layup. Instead, the Clippers get the steal and they can ice the game. And here you're going to watch Blake Griffin slip the ball screen instead of actually screening and letting Chris Paul go to work where he's so good at it. Instead, he's going one-on-one in the post against one of the best defenders in the league in Gerald Wallace. He gets stripped, and while the Clippers do get a last-second shot before the clock expires, this is basically a turnover. It's the Blazers' turn to slip the ball screen. Watch how Batum doesn't get even close. They do get a shot at the rim, but because Marcus Camby is so camped down there, Blake Griffin can come over and block it. Disorganization is the name of the game for the Clippers offense down the stretch. It seems Caron Butler's not in the right spot, but you know you're in trouble when Mo Williams is trying to direct your offense. Here, they isolate against Batum with CP3, and he hits a ridiculously tough shot. Portland decides to isolate as well with Jamal Crawford, but you can't do that when you have two guys on the same side as the guy who's isolating. The defenders can get in the way too easy, and there's Blake Griffin again bothering the shot, and he misses. Even though you want to run time off the clock, it doesn't give you an excuse for just taking a bad shot at the end of the buzzer. You should run something like a pick and roll that CP3 is so good at. Instead, he waits way too long to attack the basket and ends up getting a terrible step-back jumper. They might as well just give the ball back to Portland on a 24-second violation. The Blazers decide to get a three. Not a bad idea down 5 with under 30 seconds to go, but watch how the Clippers defense completely leaves Wes Matthews after he passes. They forget to rush at him and let him get an open three. Unless you think it was a covered three, Blake Griffin doesn't even really get his hand up there, and certainly CP3 gets stuck behind the screen. Up by 4, Blazers have no timeouts. The only thing the Clippers want to do is play defense and don't foul and give up a two-pointer. It's no big deal. But watch Blake Griffin hammer the guy at the rim. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And you think it was clean, watch how he comes down with his arms. There's always going to be a call on that. This is a recipe for disaster. The Blazers make one, and they don't miss the second one on purpose, but because of that foul, they're now in position to get a three, which he gets a look at, even though he doesn't quite make it. That could have been a tie game. They lose in overtime. So there you have it, sports fans. Normally, Nate McMillan has tough-minded teams that can execute, and I know they don't have LaMarcus Aldridge, but it's no excuse for the play calling they had and the mistakes they made. As for the Clippers, there's a pretty big excuse, and that's Vinny Del Negro. They're not organized, they're not on the same page, and they're going to get stung on the road if they keep playing that way for sure. Don't forget to check out bballbreakdown.com from now on to watch our videos because of the companion pieces that we're doing that are very insightful and very informative. And don't forget, we're going to do a post-game chat on Sunday after the Mavericks-Knicks game. And also don't forget that at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. Are you in? Or are you Lynn?